Hey guys, my name's Bethany and welcome to another video. Today we are jumping into Planet Zoo and I am so excited. I love Planet Zoo and I love animal simulation games in general. I used to play the Zoo Tycoon original whenever it was on the computer and had the best time. So I was so excited whenever Planet Zoo first came out to download it. I made a couple videos back then for the zoo that I was working on, and then decided, I don't know, I guess I didn't want to record it anymore. I made a pretty decent zoo all on my own, and then probably back in February or March, I had completed almost every animal in the game, like super detailed exhibits, landscaped everything, pathways, speakers, conservation boards, the whole 9 yards. Pretty much the entire zoo was done for like every animal in the game. And then it crashed. It wouldn't let me back in. It said like it would just sit on the loading screen and it wouldn't let me play my zoo anymore. So I got really mad at Planet Zoo and I didn't play it for a very long time. I pulled it back up in probably like May or April. Finally got my zoo to work again, brought my guest count down, and tried a couple other troubleshoots to try and get my save file to work better. And finally it is playable again, but I thought I'd just start a new zoo. So it's going to be the same name as my last zoo because apparently I have some sort of thing with the name The Living Museum. That is a real zoo, I think in Phoenix or at least in Arizona, the Living Museum. I really like that name. It kind of reminds me of the Fort Worth Zoo's MOLA, which is Museum of Living Art, for their reptiles and amphibians, just like their herpetarium area. So I really liked that, so I wanted to stick with that name. And this video is just going to be detailing the Living Museum's entryway. So I wanted to go kind of like a classic. I wanted to feel like a very polished zoo. I used a lot of the New World stuff, a lot of the classic stuff. We have some lilac and vines and all kinds of stuff under a little archway walking in. I wanted it to be just very pretty, almost like it could be a landscaped garden whenever you're first walking in. And then we're gonna have like a little entryway with a food court area for like coffee and souvenirs and stuff. There's gonna be a building where there are information booths as well as ATM. So kind of like your normal zoo entryway. So as a normal zoo entryway, you're gonna have obviously a place to just come in, go to the bathroom. There's gonna be a toilet area. And I figured we would start with a flamingo habitat. I know I did that in my last zoo, but that's like a very normal zoo thing to do, is to have your flamingo habitat right up front. That's a very good like opening zoo animal. So we're going to be doing that next episode. This episode is just going to be the entryway. I have never built a zoo, like knocked everything out in the game quite yet. I always just use their normal entry building and then detail the entrance around that. So this was kind of new for me to put like in the spawners as well as the entry turnstile area. So that took some figuring out to do. And then, like I said, whenever I was building this, I hadn't built in Planet Zoo for probably 4 or 5 months at this point, and I somehow pretty much forgot how to use every control in the game. I don't know if that happens to everyone, but I just like completely forgot how to put things in groups. I had to figure out my hotkeys again on how to raise and lower things and, you know, use control and Z and X and all of that. I had to remember how to do that again. So it's not the smoothest building that I've ever seen, and the pathways have always kicked my ass. They're kicking my ass in this video too. We have a lot of issues. I'm just not great at the paths. Like I can't, especially the raised pathways, I can't get them to slope up evenly on both sides. It's just gonna take some time. So we're just gonna be building like this is the little like guest services area. I used to work in a zoo for 5 years. I was on the guest side as well as like the tours and behind the scenes side. So pretty normal for a zoo. You're gonna have like what they call guest services or visitor services, visitor information, that kind of area. So that's what I'm building here. And do not, I'm sure everyone else but me knows this, but do not put the ceiling on your building when you're then going to have to detail it on the inside, because that is a pain in the butt. So I recommend leaving off your ceiling while you're detailing the inside, because it doesn't just disappear. I have been used to building in The Sims for quite a while, and I guess I'm just spoiled that the roof kind of disappears when you get close enough, or you can put down walls. That is not the case in Planet Zoo, so do as I say, not as I do, and I highly recommend not putting on your ceiling. We are going to detail inside here, put up some wall hangings, and then I need to kind of figure how to fill in the sides where the pathways are kind of like clipping and don't exactly match and meet up against the other objects. So we're just going to put in some little walls. And in the end, I think it turns out pretty nice looking, actually. Once all the details are in, said and done, right now it looks kind of silly. Not the best, but in the end of this first episode, I think it looks pretty good. And then next episode, I come back in and put in a whole bunch of details, and we really like jazz everything up so it looks nice and finished and polished, and I actually think it looks pretty good. And I'm gonna do some work off camera in this video. I cut out like scrolling through trying to find the right objects, or I cut out most of the lighting as well, just so it's not sitting there scrolling for the entire time. But I like the idea of putting like these little conservation boards in, because typically when you're walking into a zoo, that front area probably has like a conservation area where you're going to be giving donations. Oh, I should have put donation bins in here. I'm not sure if anybody would use them if they're away from the animals though, so just for the sake of the game, I may not put them in there. And then once we are done with this inside area, we're just going to move out and start on the main guest entrance area. But I'm putting up these wall signs, and I put up this picture that I'm putting up now of a bear, and then I swear I click check, and then all of a sudden it like disappears out of nowhere while I'm not paying attention, I guess. I must have hit X or deleted it or something. See, I must have deleted it, but I don't know how I did it. But I ended up putting it over here anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I'm really excited to get into a new zoo. I love simulation games. I'm not very good at shooter games or MPGs or anything like that, but I feel like simulation games are something I can actually get behind and do okay. Once we get in the details, it actually looks pretty decent. I would love to put in some more details and make it really realistic, but we're gonna get there. We're just putting on some wall details and ceiling details. I want to just jazz it up a little bit, give it a little bit of interest. And then we're going to do the little entryway and the spawner point here, which I had never done before, so it took me a minute to figure out how to do that. But I didn't realize it like connects on the path like any other object, so you can't put it on existing path. You would think that would register, but no. So we're going to be building our first spawner, and then I think later on off camera, I put in the second spawner on the other side, so it looks like they're walking on a sidewalk, maybe from the parking lot or something. But we're just going to be doing that, and I'm messing around with the spawner. And then out front, we're going to be putting the sign, some landscaping, lighting, all that jazz. Once we get this done, I'll be back in a minute once we get to actually something worth talking about, I guess. Enjoy. I forgot to mention, I am using the Australia pack, and I really actually like this pack. I haven't built with any of the new animals yet, but as you can see, I'm using the construction pieces and the wood for the Australia pack, which I use for the entire front portion of the zoo, and I really like it. I love the plants that they included too. I thought that was really good. The pathways are very nice, and so is the fencing, and I love the signage. We're definitely going to be using a lot of that signage when we get in, but I thought they did a really good job. My only regret is I wish that there was a wombat. That would have made my life. At least I'm pretty sure there's not a wombat. It's dingo, kangaroo, koala, cassowary, and then their exhibit animal. So and this is where I just cut out all the lighting. You can kind of see the lighting in the little tunnel. I put some in the building, and then we have these taller like light posts too, which will dot everywhere. And then I'll do some more lighting probably off camera as well. Just be doing a little bit of landscaping. And then in the next episode, we're also going to be building the employee area, which I think turns out really cool. They have some like picnic tables, rest areas, special pathways, and I tried to decorate back there to lessen the effects that they have on guests since they're so close to this entrance area. They're kind of like tucked away over to the left. And we're also going to be building a small little building right next to this one we're looking at to the left. That is like at my zoo that I worked at, they had a nursing room and like expecting mother's room where you could go in and nurse your baby, be in the quiet away from all the other guests, and it was secluded. And I wanted something like that, but I couldn't figure out how to signify that that's what it is. And then I couldn't find any like rocking chairs or anything that looked like a couch, which you would hope would be in there. And then so I thought, well, I'll just turn it into a first aid room, but there's really not a lot of like objects you can use for that either. So it just turns into a like quiet room. It has I want to say it's from like the India decorations. There are a couple of benches that almost look like they could be couches, and I put some of the vending machines in there. I hadn't used the vending machines yet, but I thought they looked really good in there. And I wasn't sure, like I said, this was my first time completely knocking out the spawners and the entryways. So I had no idea if guests would even use any of these front areas before they technically like entered the zoo. I had no idea if this was even going to be usable, but it is. I did test it, and the guests just walk in, get coffee and souvenirs. They're all wearing hats and whatever to go into the zoo, so that's great. But yeah, I make that little like quiet room. They have vending machines. They do use them. Pretty exciting stuff. And then something I would have loved to add in would be like a administrative area, but they don't really have capabilities for that quite yet. They don't have like office items or anything like that. Like you can obviously have your staff room and whatever, but obviously in like a real zoo, you're gonna have admin staff, HR, like where the CEO and the curators are and all kinds of stuff. I'd love the capability to make it even more realistic and have something like that, but obviously I know that's not like essential in gameplay because we don't even have the characters or like the staff that would do that. So I understand why it's not in there, but I just wish it was. And then in this portion, we're just going to do quite a bit of put stuff in and then realize it's in the way for stuff that I wanted to go there and then take it back out. So the wall that I'm currently building is going to have the shops in it, and then have like a stationed off little rows. I think I may put that in next time, I'm not sure. But anyways, that's where all the shops are going to be. So I'm going to end up having to take out the wall that I'm trying to build, and move it around. So this is almost like a little pointless area. I probably should have cut this footage out, but we're all here for realism. Like, no one's perfect. I'm definitely not anywhere near perfect. So I think it's kind of neat. I love whenever I watch YouTubers that play games kind of show like the process of what they're doing, show that they kind of mess up, because a lot of those people are so good at what they do and build amazing things that I could only dream of building. But it's nice to see that they kind of mess up sometimes too. So I'll probably always leave in a little bit of my mess ups. So here we are. I'm going to try and put in the shops and go, oh, well, crap. And then have to rearrange, take out the wall, all that jazz. And like I said, I'm not that great at pathways. You can see there is a gap in the middle of all the pathways. I probably could have figured out how to fix that, but instead I just use it in a different way here in a little while. And you'll see kind of what I do with it. So we are going to address that. I'm not just going to leave it. And then the same way that I had to rip out that wall for the shops, the wall that I was just messing with, we're going to have to rip out some of that for the toilet later. So, learning experience. I love these little signs for the shops. I think they look so much better than just like the words or some of the other ones. I think they look really cool. I thought about putting sunshades, but I didn't think they looked that great. But we probably will go through, or I will go through off camera and probably add a little bit more detail to the top of these buildings and walls and stuff. I am putting in this like zebra stripe detailing or border, and I think it does look really cool in the end, but I think I want to add just a little bit more to make everything look interesting. We do add some like plants and signage and all kinds of stuff in the next video, but I'd like to do just a little bit more. And in the last zoo that I made the like entrance, it had flamingos at the front as well. But then to the right, you went through like a terrained tunnel into the African area. And to the left, you went through a terrained tunnel to the Asian area. And then if you went straight, you went straight into the apes. But I'm not sure where we're going to go with this zoo. Like I said, obviously we do flamingos up front, and I think that habitat looks okay. It's not my favorite. I need to figure out something else to detail it with or to tweak it a little bit, because it looks just like a little bland. It looks like just a normal Planet Zoo habitat, and that's not really what I'm all about. I like hyper detailed. I like landscaped. I like making it look almost natural, but definitely like you're still in a zoo, like just a very high quality zoo habitat. But it looks almost just like a boring one. So I want to maybe tweak it a little bit, but we're not even there yet. That'll be like next episode or the one after that. But we're focusing on the entranceway here. We're putting these little boards, dividers. I'm not sure what you would call these, dividers probably. Here, and I think that kind of helps like separate both sides. You can almost see like the benches are there for people to wait while their family is going to the bathroom or whatever, or going into the guest services area. And then on this side, we're going to put in some benches so that people who get like their coffee or drinks or whatever can sit there, and maybe they've got like a picnic. They can have their own little lunch before they go to the zoo, or maybe after they're done at the zoo. So I thought those were good. Little like details. Put in a whole bunch of trash cans. The white ones I put feel like a like recycling bin or something. Or I hope I put them out here, not just inside. Who knows? We're gonna put in the detailing on the outside of the shops here. And then we're also gonna mess with the like power transformers and the water and stuff next time too. So really hope you guys enjoyed watching this. So I'm going to have a couple of screenshots at the end. We'll have a lot more detailed, in-depth for the next episode. I might go in and take you on like a little tour after we're done, or just get some better screenshots. Please subscribe if you like the channel and like it so more people can find us. And I hope you come back next time, which will be next Monday. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!